So you have about 20 times the attorneys
Yes.
in Terrebonne and Houma and Terrebonne Parish than you did when you first started. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think ultimately it's a good thing. It makes more work for us, but certainly you can't stand still. It means that we have something to attract the attorneys. They're not all involved in the criminal stuff and all that. Many of them do closings and help people out in starting out in their lives, and all of the many duties that good stuff that the attorneys do. But it as the recorder and the repository for all, it comes to the clerk's office. So it's good.
Now, recently, as many people know, we've had a major disaster in the Gulf, and that perhaps will lead to a lot of filings against BP or British Petroleum. We'll talk about how the clerk of court is handling that when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's probably 'cause you think you're cooler than me.
Want to get outside? Let the LCN team of outdoorsmen bring the great outdoors right into your living room and find out why Louisiana is known as a sportsman's paradise. From fishing to hunting are many outdoor adventures. Get hooked on LCN's team of experts and watch Between the Banks. Louisiana Sportsman's TV. Scales and Tails. And Archie Phillips. All right here on LCN.
Here's Better Than Ezra on preparing for a hurricane.
Everyone needs a game plan in case of a hurricane evacuation. It should include a list of essential items you need to bring, like important papers, a change of clothes, and emergency supplies. Like this radio. I'm Kevin Griffin,
And I'm Travis McNabb of Better Than Ezra.
encouraging you to get a winning game plan.
Visit getagameplan.org.
You got your highbrow, switching your walk, and you don't even look.
Welcome back to Interview with Mike Billiot. Mr. Boudreaux, we were talking earlier before about the filings and the type of filings that get filed, type of documents that get filed in the clerk of court's office. Recently, we've had a major disaster in the Gulf with the BP oil spill. Is the clerk of court's office of Terrebonne Parish going to be handling a lot of those filings since we're so close to the Gulf, or how has that been going?
I suspect that there's going to probably be some filings. I don't know if some of this is going to stay in Terrebonne, if it's going to go maybe to the federal courts. I have an idea that that's probably what's going to happen. We have had a couple of filings. I have not noticed anything like a lot of it, but I think it's because we haven't had that much time that has passed since this disaster. We've got to remember that there was 11 people that were killed in this thing, and of course with all of that's going to probably come, and there'll be some filings, I'm sure.
Now, other than just the filings against BP, doesn't the disaster have some other residual effects on the clerk's office? How is it going to affect the clerk's office in general?
I think what you're alluding to is that it's going to probably have a stilling effect on leasings and things that pass through the office, where the oil companies lease, and it winds up in the conveyance records, and people check them out to get the land records for the various oil companies. I think that's evidenced by the fact that we had so fewer and fewer people that come in the room to examine the records, because that's not happening until some of these problems get solved. But I hope that's only temporary.
Is that as a result of the moratorium that has been
I
placed?
think so. I think it's like a domino effect. It's going to affect everything like that involving all the leasings and things, because if they're not able to drill, of course that kind of chills it. You see.
Right.
But with this last ruling, there was some light given, and then it looks like they're going to maybe do another one, and that's just a continuation of just a kind of a status quo, you might say.
We are not only affected by what happens in the Gulf with regard to the oil spills, but over the years we've had some major hurricanes. How does the clerk's office protect the documents that are filed within the clerk's office when we have a major disaster like a hurricane?
Well, in the first place, we move the records that people look at on a daily basis in an upper story until some of that passes. But you remember that all of the records are on imaging, and copies of that are brought to other places in another state, so that in case something happens, you can reproduce them.
Gotcha. Now, you have served an amazing 11 terms in office. The people of Terrebonne Parish obviously trust your experience and know that your knowledge has grown as the community has grown. Are you intending to run for another office, or a 13th term?
Well, I tell you, Mike, if I feel like I can still do it, like I'm feeling right now talking to you, the chances are good that I will. Of course, we'll have to think about that, because we still have 2 more years to go.
Well, I'm going to have you on for another show, so you can tell me if you're going to be running or not.
I am. If I feel like I'm feeling now, and if the people will accept a fellow that's carrying my age, and they choose to elect me, the chances are that I certainly will, because after all, it's up to them.
Well, Ms. Boudreaux, you're not only carrying the age, but you've also grown with the community, and
Yes.
your age shows the amount of knowledge also you have of the whole process that takes place within the clerical court system, and the people of Terrebonne Parish have obviously appreciated that and kept you into office this long. Now, over those 11 terms, 11 four-year terms, and you're in the middle of your 12th term now.
Yes.
And over your 11 four-year terms, you haven't had much competition. The people have actually saw fit to keep you in office, and people have not run against you. How many times have you had to actually run against an opponent?
Okay, in 1963, when I was preparing to try to succeed Mr. Bazette, I had an opponent. In 1975, I had an opponent. I didn't know about it until the day of the qualifications, and we had to take care of that. And then in 2003, I had an opponent. This last time, I was fortunate enough not to have an opponent, but I've had to run 3 times out of 12 times.
If you had not started working at the clerk's office immediately after high school, had not stayed in office for 11 terms, now on your 12th term, what do you think you would be doing right now? What do you think your occupation would be?
Mike, I'm going to tell you, that's probably the most difficult question you've asked me so far, because I honestly don't know, because when you think back this long, you kind of lose sight as to what you might have done. But I probably would have gotten some job in an office somewhere, maybe if somebody would have been able to take a chance on a guy from by the lodge wanting to work. I would have tried to do something, I'm sure.
Now, when you
I just don't know how to answer as to what I would have done, because we're talking 60 years ago.